Hey guys, Barry Page here with Legacy Money. As you can see, we're shooting in a little different location today. We're going to talk about what's in the news, and the show's going to be a little different. So, just going to talk about a few items that I know you're aware of, but how they might impact you in your life. We're going to talk about things like labor and the value that you receive from your work. And then things like taxes, economics, and what impact that has on your life. My mission is simple: to help you protect your family and keep more of your money. I'm here to help level the playing field for families and those who seek the truth. There's always a new way to make money, but at the end of the day, it's your family's security and your legacy that matter. And I promise to help you protect what's really important to you. Legacy Money starts now. Okay, let's get started. So I have to just start off by talking about work, because I've always had the attitude that you should love what you do. And I absolutely love helping people, helping them achieve their goals, helping them accomplish their dreams. But there's this, mystique out there, this dream of being an internet entrepreneur. And that's fine and dandy. If you can make your money online, more power to you. But then there's also this other side of the fence that says, I'm going to work hard at skilled labor or backbreaking labor even. So there is a happy medium. And, I have to read this headline. So here's a headline from NPR today. Overwork killed more than 745,000 people in a year, WHO study finds. Now think about that. 745,000 people in 1 year, they're saying, were killed from overwork. Now that's from the WHO, the World Health Organization, mind you. The same people that brought you the pandemic, the pandemic, and who are giving guidance on that. But here's what they say. Working long hours poses an occupational health risk that kills hundreds of thousands of people each year, the World Health Organization says. People working 55 or more hours face an estimated 35% higher risk of a stroke and a 17% higher risk of dying from heart disease compared to following the widely accepted standard of working 35 to 40 hours in a week. Well, who created that standard? Was it the government? Maybe Bismarck, Germany? Who created Social Security that you could take off? Where does the word retirement come from? God said we will work 6 days and take 1 day to rest. So 6 days, I don't know. Sam Walton said, I work half a day, right? 12 hours, that's half a day. So that still leaves us 12 hours to sleep, to play, to do whatever we want to do. So I don't know. I found that laughable. But really, doing what we love, I believe, is what's more important, because many of those people that may be working those extra hours are probably under a lot of pressure. They have to earn money, they feel, to live, and the only way they know how to do that is with common labor, working by the hour. So let's talk about what we can do to have fun. So with your work, if you have a normal schedule, maybe you do work the 35 to 40 hours a week. If you are just judging by their overwork standard, then that leaves you maybe 15, 20 hours that you could work on what you love, right? So what do you love? And why do you do what you do? We have to start with why. We have to start with why we're working in the first place. Are we working to provide an income for ourselves, for our family, if you have children, for our business, to keep the doors open? Why are you doing what you're doing? If you're a slave to your job or your business, then you're probably not getting the enjoyment from it that you should. So I've written numerous articles, blogs, made videos on doing what you love. You might want to check out pma101.com for that, or follow me on Facebook, our Barry page, or follow Barry page, facebook.com/follow Barry page. And you'll find countless articles just on money and mindset and what we do and how we can make a living doing what we do. I'm just going to give you a couple of quick examples. When I was in college, many of you know I sold books during college, but that's how I made money. That's how I learned about entrepreneurship and capitalism. But what I really loved to do at that time was ride my skateboard and ride my BMX bike. I grew up doing that, and by the time I got to college, I just had this unfound freedom to get out and explore. And so I started a skate shop. It was called Nirvana. This was back in the day before the band. So I sold skateboards. I sold t-shirts, tie-dye t-shirts that I made. I love doing that. I love being creative. So you can do what you love. Now, this didn't really provide me with an income to live on, selling skateboards and t-shirts, but I was doing something that I love to do. So the passion was there, and I could do it part-time in my spare time. So maybe you can find something that you love to do. Maybe you love to fish. Maybe you love to write. Maybe you enjoy children. So think about that. What could you do? Maybe you don't want to have a full-time daycare, or you don't have the time to have a daycare, but what if you could help parents? What if you could teach or tutor children? Just many things that you can do. And believe me, there's lots of opportunity out there to do these things. We have this thing called the internet. The way I'm communicating with you right now allows you to create courses, to create ways to teach, to create opportunity. So one of the first things that I talk to my clients about is what they're doing to earn a living and what they can do to create more income from their side job, a passive income for later. What can you do now to create value in the lives of other people? There are people looking for the things that you're good at. You can just do a search. Whatever you like to do, get out your favorite search engine and do a search, all right? And you can track this. I'll talk more about this later. Again, I've written about it, but I just want to encourage you to do what you love. Do what you love. My friend Jim Rohn said, he worked full-time at his job, but he worked part-time on his passion, building his fortune, right? So if you want to build a fortune for yourself and for your family, I encourage you to do what you love to do, right? You might have to start out small. You might have to start out part-time, but you can build a following. You can be successful in whatever you set your mind to do. So start with why, examine where you are today, and do what you want to do. Later on, that skate shop turned into a thriving skate park, and we moved to Nashville, Tennessee, where it did support our family. So XXX Sports was a business that I had that catered to skateboarders and BMXers. We sponsored riders. We built a place for them to skate and ride their bikes when skateboarding and BMX were basically dead in the early 90s. So we kind of pioneered the skate park. We held the XXX Olympics before the X Games were ever created. So you can do the same thing. Find something you love to do that you're passionate about, that you're good at, and share your knowledge. Share what you love to do with other people. Okay, so we agreed that our work, our job, our career can bring value to others. And whether or not you're working by the hour or you're working in a career, a business that you own, you control, then we want to bring value and return, be rewarded for our efforts. So typically we're rewarded with money. So what is the value of money? That's a nice segue into something that I brought up earlier. That's inflation.
Conclusion. What we need is more value in the money. In terms of gold and other commodities, prices aren't really going up. sometimes they actually even go down. In terms of paper money worldwide, whether it's the euro or the dollar, prices are going up. But I maintain really that inflation is a tax, and if the Federal Reserve and you as chairman have this authority to increase the money supply arbitrarily, you're probably the biggest taxer in the country. You're a bigger taxer than the Congress. Because, they're talking now about a bailout package of $300 billion, and we'll have to raise the national debt to accommodate, to take care of the housing crisis. But you as a Federal Reserve chairman and the Federal Reserve Board and the system create hundreds of billions of dollars without even appropriation process. But then this money gets circulated, and some people benefit. The people who get to use it first benefit. The people who get to use it last suffer the consequence of the higher prices. And so every time people go and they complain about these higher prices, they should say to themselves, I'm paying a tax. Because whether you're monetizing debt or whatever, or catching up for buying up securities, we've had a free ride for all these years. We've been able to export our inflation. We have the Chinese buying up our securities. We haven't had to monetize it. But now it's coming home, and you have to buy these things to prop them up. So I maintain that inflation, that is the increase in the supply of money for various reasons, is a tax. It's an unfair tax. It's a regressive tax. It hurts the poor. It hurts the retired people more, because labor never goes up and keeps up with inflation. We never keep up with the need for the retired individuals to keep up with the cost of living. So I'd like you to comment on this. Is this completely off base, or is there something really to this? Every time we see the cost of living going up, that we indirectly are paying a tax.
Congressman, I couldn't agree with you more that inflation is a tax. Inflation is a tax. Inflation is a tax.
You just saw the video where Ron Paul grilled Ben Bernanke, and he admitted that inflation is a tax. So the question to you is, what are you doing with your time to add value, and what is the value of your money? If we just looked at a few headlines from today, Bloomberg.com, inflation rate and shortages. Companies panic buying as supplies run low. From the New York Times, inflation fears rise as prices surge for lumber, cars, and more. The New Yorker, why Jerome Powell and the Fed should ignore the inflation hawks. That's interesting. Vox, Fox News, The Hill, Wall Street Journal, the rise of inflation and expectations. So a number of articles out there just today. So inflation is in the news, and what are you doing about it? What are you doing to preserve the value of your dollars, your money, the Federal Reserve notes that we're paid in? Where do you store your money? We believe that where you store your money is more important than the return that it earns. So let me say that again. Where you store your money is more important than the return that it earns. My mentor, Nelson Nash, wrote a book, Warehouse of Wealth. It was a grassroots method, right, for avoiding fractional reserve banking. So Nelson always said that the banking function is what's important. So where we store our money and how we use it for our personal finances is going to make all the difference. And we need a way to combat inflation, to combat taxes. They're eroding our dollars. They're costing us money. And as we save for the future, our future lifestyle will be eroded by inflation as well. So we have to plan, we have to prepare, and we have to protect our money from inflation. All right, moving right along to taxes. So we just talked about inflation, and Ben Bernanke told you that inflation is a tax. So you might be wondering, well, I already pay income tax, right? And state income tax and sales tax and probably another 30 to 40 other types of taxes that we all pay. So what is this inflation tax? Well, inflation comes from the Greek word inflato. And so They're inflating the money supply. It's not that prices are going up, right? It's just there's more money in the supply. And so the cost are increasing for buyers or for manufacturers and retailers, whatnot, and the prices are passed on to us. But it's more of a money printing problem than it is from the actual prices going up. But let's just talk about what specifically we know. So most of us are in, I don't know, a 25 to 40% income tax bracket. So if you make $100, or let's say you make $100,000, then probably $25,000 of that will go to income taxes. But then there's other types of income, obviously passive income, types of income where we pay capital gains taxes. And many people might invest in real estate or businesses or other ways, so they don't have to pay that full 40% or even 25% depending on their income level. So capital gains tax, if you're not familiar with it, today is around 20%. So if you buy a piece of real estate for say $400,000, you're married, you have an exclusion, sell it for $800,000, then you might miss that tax. Or if you do have to pay it, that's what it would be, 20% of that. So, but let's say you made $1 million in whatever type of profit from your business that paid capital gains tax. Maybe it's a stock, okay? And you made $1 million and you were paying $200,000 as the tax from the profit of that. Now suddenly that goes up to 40% under the new Biden tax proposal. So you go from paying $200,000 to $400,000. Now your profit, what's left over for you to keep, is $600,000. So I don't know, that might be a hard one to stomach for a lot of people, but what are you doing to protect yourself? So, you know, first of all, the capital gains tax is something that savvy investors, profit makers, business owners look for ways to decrease your taxes. What if you just exempted yourself from taxes? What if you cut off of the IRS radar altogether and you had a business, a machine, a way to earn profits where you didn't have to pay taxes, or to create cash flow, which at the end of the day is what we need to live. So inflation is a tax, and we pay plenty of taxes already, whether it be federal income taxes, state income taxes, sales taxes, gasoline taxes, other types of taxes that we pay on utilities, whatnot. We all pay them. So if you're like me, you hate paying taxes. So we believe that taxes are an unnecessary evil. We believe in paying our fair share. We just don't want to pay more than we have to. So again, I've got other videos on how you can decrease your tax liability, what you can do to save more money off of the IRS radar, for lack of a better term, but ways that we can pay our fair share, but we don't overpay. And that's exactly what many people are doing when they defer taxes for the future, because we don't know what they'll be. If we just look at this chart, I'm going to show you the federal income tax history. And, you know, taxes were supposed to be temporary, right? No taxation without representation. But unfortunately, taxes have gone on. And, you know, taxes have risen. Most people don't even realize people have paid as much as 90 to 94% income tax on their money. So if people are making, say, $100 million, can you imagine if you made that kind of money and then all of a sudden $94 million of it goes to taxes? That'd be hard for me to swallow. So, but it really doesn't matter what level you are, because of the other thing that we mentioned, inflation. Taxes are going to hit everybody. So we best learn how to avoid them, to pay only our fair share. If you want to be successful in keeping more of what you earn, to spend on your family, to spend on your business, to spend on your causes, the things that you care about. And unfortunately, You know, the guys in D.C. don't always seem to understand that if we have more money, we'll give more money. Most people don't mind paying taxes. They just don't want to overpay. And they don't like seeing Congress, the people in D.C., squandering their money. So if you want to learn more about that, again, just subscribe to our channel, ask your questions below, and we'll cover it. But that's really what all I want to talk about today. I encourage you to find ways to do work that you enjoy, things that you love to do, work part-time, work from home. If you find something you love to do, you'll never feel overworked. You'll just love what you're doing, and you'll rest well at night knowing you did what you wanted to do. So do that, and then protect yourself, protect your family, protect your income, protect your money, and put it in a safe place. Store it where the government and the banks can't get their hands on it through inflation and taxes. I want to thank you for joining me today. And if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and make sure that you are subscribed to Legacy Money. Hit the little bell if you want to be notified when I make new videos. I appreciate your time today. Please leave your comments, questions below, and I'll try to get to them real soon. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.